Hello, my friends. Welcome to A Heart of Art and Design. Today, I wanted to share some thoughts about using the grid. The reason I make these lessons is because I want to inspire people that are a little bit insecure about drawing because they don't have talent. I know many people that would like to draw, but they don't draw well immediately, so they get discouraged. Now, there are very simple ideas about drawing that anyone can learn how to do. And the grid method is one way of drawing that can help someone to get the experience of making a drawing to begin with. And there's one thing that comes up, though, is that people wonder if using the grid method is cheating. Well, because there's lines, because you draw a grid first, and there's lines. Well, here's the thing of it. I've never heard that when people write on a piece of paper and the paper has lines on it to help your put your letters down and keep them in order or your numbers or whatever. No one ever says nothing about notebook paper. So the grid is just helps you put your marks, get your marks in place. So our nice little setup to begin is that it's nice to have your picture in front of you like this, where it's standing up so you can look at it, and then you can look at your picture here, and then you can you can draw here so it's right in front of you. Or you could put it to the side. You could put it to the side over here, and then go from here to here when you're looking at it. But I would recommend just having it in front of you. And I really want to encourage people that think they can't, because I worked with kids for a long time, and they were excited about this idea because they were drawing things they thought they couldn't draw. It helped them organize their marks. Because actually, most people do draw well, they just have trouble with proportion. And that's what the grid really helps with, is getting good proportion. So usually, many of it's really common for a lot of these coloring books like this, they only cost $1, to have a grid in them already made. So so it's already started off for you. But you can also make your own. So like here, I started off by taking just a ruler, this ruler, and then this is a 4-inch by 4-inch square. And then over here, I doubled the size. Like my piece of paper can hold an 8-inch by 8-inch square. This can be 8 inches. 8 inches from here to here, and 8 inches from here to here. Then, so this gets a little bit into ratio and enlargement, but very simple math. That all I did is make it 2 times bigger. So the squares here will be 1 inch big. This square here is 1 inch. And this square over here is 2 inches. And there's 16 squares. And there's 16 squares here. Now, something that really helps with these things too is that, well, the pencils, is that usually I draw with this pencil. I like to use these. But since this is smaller, I just found that the mechanical pencil can make the finer line, especially when we're working in the portrait. Because actually here, this square here, where the face goes, it's really small. It's only like 1 inch big. So it doesn't give me that much room to work. And here I enlarged it to make it 2 inches big. So this is a 2-inch square. It's double the size than the original when I enlarge. And then I drew a little mini grid just in this section to help me get where I want to draw the nose and the mouth and the lips and all that stuff. Because there's a little bit more. I have to be to get the likeness of the character, especially when you're doing portraiture, whether it be a cartoon or it be realistic, you have to be accurate. The more accurate you are, the the better chance you have of getting the likeness. And you can take your time with this. I really recommend taking your time with this. So, and then one more thing about this grid is that I made a mini grid, but I'm not going to do it everywhere. Just here because this is where it really has to be exact. So, on this character, to get the face to look like the person, this helps me keep track of where things go. But over here, this part doesn't have as much detail. And I'm only drawing the top half of the character anyways. Now, another thing is that you can start anywhere you want, but I like to start with the outline. So one thing I want to say about this too that's really important is that um here, when I'm making these marks, this empty space here is making a shape. Here's a shape right here, and then I can match this shape toward the shape here and see how I'm doing. These are all shapes. So I can look at the shape of the hand, and I can also look at the shapes around the hand, the empty space, and see how close I am to matching the likeness to what I'm drawing. That can help a lot when you're drawing. Also, since I'm not going to put any detail in until I get all this finished, this part here, the outline of the character and the basic shape of the entire character, because I want to check it and see how it's going. I want to see if there's anything I need to change or correct. And then right here too is it on this section here, it's empty. There's nothing here. On this section, it's empty. So that's a freebie. You don't even have to worry about that. That's already done for you. So you start off with 16 squares, but two of them are already finished. See, we got freebies. And then in some of these boxes, there's not much in it. There's here and here. But I'm checking these shapes. The empty space. This also helps with composition of the picture. When at some stage, an art professor might tell you you have to work on composition. Well, the reason we have trouble with composition is because we tend to only think about the subject itself, but not where it's placed on the paper. Well, once you start to notice the empty space, you see how beautiful this shape is, just for being what it is. But we can also get hung up on giving something a name, identifying it, and then giving it a name, and then we think we know it. But thinking we know something is not the same as actually looking at it. Because, see, like this shape here, this the empty space in the hair, it doesn't have a name, but it has a likeness. A shape has a likeness, it has a place, and it has a scale, whether it be big or small. Like the shape of the hand, it's a shape. It makes a shape. The shape has a size. It has a place on the piece of paper. How big it is, what it looks like, and its place on the paper. So pretty much that's all it is. It's like you don't have to be complicated. You don't have to know a lot of different ideas about drawing. That the grid method, you don't have to have any previous formal art training. You don't have to have talent, any of that sort of stuff. You just have to want to try and believe you can learn more than believing in talent.